Let's paint a portrait of RM from BTS. This image started off with a lot of sketching. My aim is to get the likeness down at this stage, so my focus is often on trying to get the proportions right and so on. Of course, I don't always get it right at this stage, and that's totally fine, as I can always change things later in the process. In early 2022, I painted all the BTS members for a bigger personal project. The project was themed around their song Black Swan, meaning I also made sure to use references from the song's music video. As always, the process video is sped up quite a bit. But the portrait took me almost 7 hours to make, which happened over the course of several days. The image was painted at the same time as the other 6 portraits, meaning that there was a bit of back and forth to make sure that the images would work well together in a series. Some might look at the painting and the reference image and go, RM's hair should be strawberry blonde, not blue. And that's totally true if I set out to create a portrait that perfectly captures the reference image. However, my goal for the series was to use a cohesive colour palette, but also limit it to less than 10 colours. That meant I had to change some of the colours, but I made sure to keep the same value difference in the image. I also chose to use light blue as I didn't want the hair colour to be too similar to the colours used for the skin. I know this isn't everyone's cup of tea, but when working with limited colour palettes for bigger projects, these are the choices I sometimes have to make. Besides the colour palette, I'm doing a few other things to make sure the series is consistent. For instance, I'm using the same brushes throughout. This means that the same slightly textured brush is used for the majority of the painting. But I also used a half-tone brush that really helped with adding more colour variation, depth, and even makes the image seem a bit more naturalistic when seen from afar. It was important to me to work on all the portraits at once. The main reason is that I wanted to make sure that they all looked consistent in colour and style. However, it also made it easier to streamline the process behind the paintings, as something I learned while painting one of the portraits could easily be applied to the others. Throughout the process, I was constantly mirroring my canvas and reference image. However, Procreate doesn't capture this in the time-lapse, so you can't see that I did it. I do this as it gives me a chance to see the image with fresh eyes, which is really helpful when I struggle with the likeness of the members, which I did in this series. So in order to see where I was going wrong, I did something I don't usually do. I created a new document and copied in my painting. And then I overlaid it with the reference image that I scaled up so it was the same size. This helped me see where my proportions and placements were off. And it wasn't used for tracing or anything like that, it was just used to get the clarity I needed to see where things weren't right and how I could fix these issues. If you have any questions regarding my process, let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. More process videos are up on my YouTube channel, and check out my social media accounts and my website for more of my work.